So when it comes to ICTs trading strategies, one of the most important concepts and things you need to learn is ICT's daily bias. I've seen other YouTubers attempt this. Obviously you have ICT himself going over it, but unless you got time to watch, hours worth of footage and video from ICT himself, it's going to take you a while. So what I've done in this video is I just broke it down into a very simple way of understanding daily bias and something that you can do. So the first thing I noticed that when it comes to daily bias, a lot of people make a mistake with is they just start off on the daily time frame. Ideally, you don't want to be doing that. You want to see the big picture, and the only way you're going to see the big picture is if you move to the monthly time frame. So we're going to start off at the monthly time frame. The first thing you want to do is you want to go to recent price action. Don't make the mistake that other traders do, is where they go back too far, and that's where price is over here, but you're marking out monthly areas here. You don't need to do that. Just go to where recent price action is. So recently we can see prices in this little range here, and what we're going to do is we're going to mark out the low of the range and then the high of the range, and that's it. Simple, really easy, really simple to do. We don't need to do anything else but that on the monthly time frame. Now let's jump to the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame is when it gets a bit more interesting, right? You get a more detailed picture of what you've just drawn out on the monthly time frame, but we are going to look at what the weekly time frame shows us. So on the monthly time frame, we highlighted these two areas. What do we know about these areas, right? So this high here and this low here, we know that above this high or around this high, there's a lot of liquidity, and the same for this low here, there's a lot of liquidity. We can clearly see if we look to the left of these two highs, this high and this low, is we've got, we had this liquidity here that got taken out by this low, right? And we had this liquidity here taken out by this high. And that's very important for us because we know that price is moving and taking liquidity as it moves. Then we had this, quite a strong move down, and then we have a nice strong move up with impulses and then retracements and then impulses, and currently we're in a retracement. So what we want to do here is we want to start looking at this area of price. So what can we see here? So on the weekly time frame, we can't really see the liquidity here too much. Obviously we know there's something here, so I can just mark that out over here. I think the daily time frame is going to show this better, but we know that's an area of liquidity. We also know that if we look here to look for some equals, we have something here, right? It's already been taken by this move up, but it's always worth drawing it out just so we get a bigger picture and understanding of what's happened. And then we can also see there was a fair value gap from this high here. So that's probably the best way to draw a fair value gap, probably something like this. Yep, there we go. And we can see it's been filled, and then price is pulling down. So that's a good understanding of what price is doing. At the moment we can see prices filled a fair value gap, it's moving down, and the question is it going to move down and take this liquidity, and is it going to move down and take this monthly liquidity at this low here? Once you've got the bigger picture, once you've drawn out everything you can see on the weekly time frame, now we jump down to the daily time frame. The daily time frame, what does it show us? So again, we can see that price came up here, it's filled this fair value gap which was on the weekly time frame. Now if I just remove that for now, we can see that this liquidity has already been taken, but we have equals here, right? We also have, let's say from this high here to there, a nice little fair value gap. So that gives us an idea that actually price can move up into this area, fill this. Now if I just zoom out a bit, we can see we've been on either a retracement. Yeah, I'd say it's a retracement. Look at that long move down, and we've been retracing. So are we going to move up higher at this point? Is this a consolidation phase before we break up to the upside? And if we're going to break up to the upside, we're obviously going to take out this high, right? And so that's an idea now. So I'm thinking, okay, we could move up, and if we do move up, we're going to take these take these or this liquidity here, take this high, fill this fair value gap, and continue moving. Now to the downside. What is the picture to the downside? So to the downside, we know we have clear liquidity here, right? We had a fair value gap here, it's been filled, so there's no point drawing it out. But we also can see we have liquidity and we have a fair value gap there. So now we have an understanding that actually price can come down, take this fair value, take this liquidity, and then fill this fair value gap. And so we know that that's the bias on that side. And as we can see, and this is where we pay attention to more the momentum of price, the way price is moving. So we can see that this move down was very slow, right? And then we get this move, this, let's say, consolidation phase, and then we break out of it, and then we get an impulse move to the upside. Very fast move to the upside, right? Into here. We get a quick move down, and then we start to, slowly move down. And so that's telling me that price wants to move up. So from a buyer's perspective, I'm probably looking at buys, okay? But if we start to take this liquidity, which would make sense, right? Then ideally I'll be looking at this. So I expect some more movement to the downside, very nice and slow, take this liquidity, tap into this fair value gap, and then move to the upside. And so that's the daily bias. So clearly it's going to be something like this, where we keep coming down, we tap into this, and then we move up and then take that. Now we could also obviously come down and take this as well, but ideally this would be the daily bias. And so that's how I essentially get a daily bias, how I understand where price is moving on the daily time frame. So then how does that help me when I'm taking trades? So if I know price has a reason to come down here, take this liquidity and come into this fair value gap, then I know that I should be looking at little systems, essentially, how would I say it? Let's say a system here, that's just going to push price down, right? And then we're going to get something here where we tap into fair value gap. And then once we get to this point, price and your systems are going to tell you whether to take a short trade or a long trade, right? So that's your trades are going to be like that. So if you're looking at short trades here, or your system saying, oh, here's a nice short setup, right? So maybe it's an Asia liquidity high raid and you're looking to sell it and take a short trade. You'll be like, okay, that fits in with my daily bias, because my daily bias is saying I can expect price to come down to this area. So then you'll take it, then maybe you take it again, then maybe you take it again, and then you finally tap into that fair value gap on the daily time frame. That makes sense. Now, once you're in this area, maybe you get a buy trade, right? So let me change it to a green. Okay, not that one. Oops, messed it up there. Let's just draw this out. Maybe that's a green, right? And then you get your system here, and these are all buy trades up until maybe this point or this point here. And that's how you're going to trade it. That's how you use your daily bias to fit in with your systems. Don't just take trades off of daily bias. Use it as a bias, as is in the name, to take trades in your direction, but use your systems for entry and for, you can say, clarification. Because obviously, your bias could be wrong. If your system's telling you to take buy trades, then obviously your system is saying that price should be moving up. But if it complements your daily bias, then fair enough. And that's essentially the position you want to be in, and you'll be able to take the trades you want to take. And I think that's it for my video. I just thought this is something that would be valuable to all you guys. Let me know what you think of the video. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.